Hi, welcome to Mindful Connections with Melanie. I'd like to talk a little bit about your brain. And this is a kind of helpful way that I like to sort of think about the brain. I'm going to try and explain it to you. This is a really good book as well. Your Fantastic Elastic Brain, because your brain can be shaped and stretched, and it's constantly changing. So your brain has loads of jobs to do. Your brain controls pretty much everything. I mean, have you seen Inside Out, the movie? Yeah, the control center. It's really, really amazing. And here's some of the things that your brain does control. So when you do something over and over again, it creates paths in your brain. So when you were a baby, you couldn't do an awful lot. And your brain has learned how to do these things. And it's going to keep on learning and keep on growing and keep on changing. And the things you do more often, the pathways get stronger. Now, there's different parts of the brain. So there's the thinking part of the brain that kind of decides what it is you're going to do. It manages your feelings. It gives you the chance to kind of think things through before you decide something. And it's also the part of the brain that makes you empathetic. So Daniel Siegel, who is an author, calls this the upstairs brain. He has a diagram of a fist, and it's like the upstairs of a house. Then there's the emotional part of the brain, which is the downstairs brain. And this is where your breathing, digesting food, and all your emotions are stored. And this is where your big angry and worried feelings all come from. So quite often what he'll talk about is flipping your lid. So when your thinking part of the brain just goes offline, you kind of flip your lid, and it's all emotional. So you've been told you're not allowed the chocolate ice cream, even though you've gone to VisOKs. You're not allowed it. And your thinking part just disappears. You flip your lid and you can't think clearly. And all your emotions are kind of running wild about how unfair it is. So this downstairs brain, its tiny part is to react to threats. So quite often we think of something as a threat, like the fact we're not allowed our chocolate ice cream. It thinks we're in danger. So it allows you to do one of three things. It signals to you to run away, to fight back, or to freeze. Sometimes these are not always dangerous situations. We're not running away from a saber-toothed tiger like we maybe would have been if we'd been living in the caveman times. But our bodies still react that way. And what happens is this part of the brain at the front is where all our decisions, good decisions, are made. This part just goes offline when we flip our lid. And when this part goes offline, we cannot think clearly at all. And the blood goes from here to all other parts of our body, to our hands, to our feet, to help us to run, to fight, and sometimes to freeze. So I hope that was a helpful introduction to the brain. And I'm away to do one for your parents and your grandparents and anyone else that's interested to know. Thank you for listening. Bye.